In the quiet, unassuming town of Superior, Montana, a night at the local bar turned into a tragedy that no one could have foreseen. On August 27, 2023, 2 lives were cut short in an act of violence that shook the small community to its core. At the center of it all was Kraig Walter Benson, a husband, father, and seemingly ordinary man. But what could have driven him to such an unthinkable act? The Four Aces Bar, a place where locals gathered to unwind and share laughs, became the backdrop for a devastating crime. That night, Jenny Benson, Kraig's wife, and Logan Gardner, a well-liked bartender, were both fatally shot. In the span of moments, the lives of 2 innocent people were stolen, leaving behind unanswered questions and unimaginable grief. Why did Kraig walk into that bar armed with a gun? What was said or left unsaid that could have turned a husband into a killer? The answers lie not only in the events of that fateful night, but in the layers of a story that would later grip the nation. Stay with us as we unravel the details of one of Montana's most chilling cases. Welcome to True Crime Files, where we bring you the real stories behind some of the most haunting cases ever recorded. Here, we explore the facts, unravel the details, and share the moments that changed lives forever. Each case we cover is more than just a story. It's a glimpse into the events that leave communities shaken and families searching for answers. If you're captivated by the complexities of human behavior and the mysteries that unfold in everyday life, you've come to the right place. We are dedicated to delivering thorough, thoughtful, and deeply researched narratives that go beyond headlines. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss a single update. This case, like all we cover, will stay with you long after the story is told. Let's begin. Superior, Montana, is a place where life moves at a slow and steady pace. Nestled amidst rolling hills and quiet streets, it's a town where everyone knows everyone, where the familiar hum of daily life offers comfort. On August 27, 2023, that rhythm was shattered forever. That evening, the Four Aces Bar was alive with chatter and laughter. Locals gathered to unwind, share stories, and enjoy a drink or two. Among them were Kraig Benson and his wife, Jenny Benson. At first glance, they appeared to be just another couple enjoying a night out. Jenny was known in the community for her warm smile and kind nature, while Kraig was reserved, often keeping to himself. To the other patrons, there was nothing unusual about their presence that night. But as the hours passed, tension began to rise. Kraig stepped outside, his movements deliberate. In the parking lot, he opened the door of his wife's vehicle and retrieved a firearm. Inside the bar, Jenny and the bartender, Logan Gardner, continued their conversation, unaware of what was unfolding just a few steps away. Kraig returned to the bar, his demeanor calm, almost detached. Without warning, he raised the weapon and fired. Chaos erupted as patrons ducked for cover, and the sound of gunshots filled the air. In a matter of moments, Jenny and Logan lay lifeless on the floor. The horror of what had just happened was incomprehensible. Why had Kraig taken this devastating action? What had transpired between him and Jenny to push him to such a point? Those questions lingered in the minds of witnesses as authorities arrived at the scene. The once lively bar was now a crime scene, marked by tragedy and unanswered questions. Kraig Benson fled the scene that night, driving away in Jenny's car. Authorities immediately launched a manhunt, and by the next morning, they found Kraig just outside of town. He was apprehended without resistance, his demeanor eerily composed. As investigators delved into the case, they uncovered a story of jealousy and suspicion. Kraig had become convinced that his wife was having an affair with Logan Gardner. Friends and family later revealed that Kraig's behavior had grown increasingly erratic in the months leading up to the tragedy. He had isolated himself, consumed by thoughts he rarely shared with others. During his initial interviews, Kraig claimed to have no memory of the events at the bar. He expressed regret for what had happened, stating, "I lost the love of my life." But his words offered little comfort to those grieving the loss of Jenny and Logan. In court, Kraig's demeanor was cold. He showed little emotion as prosecutors detailed the events of that night. Witnesses recounted the terror they felt as Kraig entered the bar with the gun. Forensic evidence painted a clear picture of what had happened, leaving little room for doubt. The trial revealed the depth of Kraig's jealousy and the paranoia that had consumed him. Prosecutors argued that his actions were premeditated, pointing to the fact that he retrieved the gun from Jenny's vehicle and returned to the bar with the intent to kill. Kraig's defense, on the other hand, argued that he acted in a moment of rage, clouded by his suspicions and emotions. As the evidence mounted, it became clear that Kraig's actions were deliberate. The jury deliberated for only a short time before returning a verdict of guilty on all counts. The courtroom fell silent as the judge prepared to deliver the sentence. Kraig Benson was sentenced to 140 years in prison, 60 years for each count of deliberate homicide, and an additional 10 years for using a firearm in the commission of a crime. For the families of Jenny Benson and Logan Gardner, the sentence brought a measure of justice, but it could never erase the pain of their loss. Superior, Montana was forever changed. The Four Aces Bar, once a hub of community life, stood as a stark reminder of the tragedy. Memorials for Jenny and Logan were held in the weeks following the incident. Friends and family gathered to share memories, their voices trembling with grief. Jenny's sister spoke at the memorial, describing her as a light in the lives of everyone she met. Logan's parents remembered their son as someone who had dreams of opening his own business one day. Their stories brought tears to the eyes of those in attendance, a community united in mourning. In the months that followed, the town struggled to heal. The crime had left deep scars, not just on the families of the victims, but on the entire community. People who once felt safe in their small town now questioned how something so tragic could happen in a place they called home. Despite the pain, there was also resilience. Local organizations came together to support the families of the victims. Candlelight vigils were held and funds were raised to create a memorial in honor of Jenny and Logan. Superiors, residents leaned on each other, finding strength in their shared grief. For Kraig Benson, the weight of his actions will be carried for the rest of his life behind prison walls. His story serves as a grim reminder of the consequences of unchecked emotions and the irreparable harm they can cause. As time goes on, the story of Jenny Benson and Logan Gardner remains etched in the hearts of those who knew them. Their lives, though tragically cut short, continue to be remembered through the love and support of their community. Superior, Montana will never forget what happened that August evening, nor will it forget the 2 lives lost in a senseless act of violence. The events of that night left a community in shock and a nation searching for answers. As we reflect on what happened, let me ask you this. What do you think could drive a person to take such irreversible actions? Was it jealousy, anger, or something deeper that we may never fully understand? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. When Kraig Benson was questioned, he claimed to have no memory of the incident. Do you believe this is possible, or was it a convenient way to avoid taking full responsibility? Comment yes if you think memory loss is plausible, or no if you believe otherwise. Let us know what you think. And as the trial came to a close, the judge handed down a sentence that left many wondering whether justice was served. What punishment do you think was appropriate for a crime of this magnitude? Was 140 years enough, or should there have been a different outcome? Like this video if you believe the sentence fit the crime, and share your perspective below. Your opinions matter, and they help us all understand the many ways these stories resonate with each of us. Keep the conversation going in the comments. This case is a sobering reminder of how quickly lives can be shattered by actions fueled by unchecked emotions. In one night, 2 lives were lost, a family was destroyed, and a small community was left forever changed. The tragedy of Jenny Benson and Logan Gardner will not be forgotten, serving as a lasting reminder of the consequences of choices that can never be undone. But this is just one story in a world full of unanswered questions and unresolved mysteries. In our next video, we'll take a closer look at a disappearance that has baffled investigators for decades. A case filled with twists, unanswered calls, and a search that has yet to yield closure. Stay tuned, because you won't want to miss what we uncover next. If this story left an impression on you, take a moment to give it a thumbs up. Your engagement helps us continue to bring these stories to light. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to join our community of true crime enthusiasts, and make sure to turn on notifications so you're the first to know when we release our next story. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.